Yeah, it wasn't I thought the Greek video was a load of fun actually. Uh, a bit, I'd say it was a bit contrived. It would have been sort of they just showed a pretty picture of the wedding and all of that, and everybody happy, and all those nice scenes. But the whole point is that the Greeks can't. The Greeks are getting fucked over pretty badly apparently, and they can't do it through political means. They can't. They can't. So what they've done is they've just said, "Oh, we'll go back to the old ways." And it's interesting for me because I remember when I was a little kid, sort of 4 or 5, what used to happen is my parents were, my father was a farm manager basically, and he or they would grow their own vegetables, and they'd also have chickens, and they'd take eggs, and when they went into town to buy groceries and stuff, they'd take along eggs to sell to people they knew around the town. So they earned an income, a small income from like someone who would own the farm and say, look, can you look after it and do that, I'll pay you this much. You get your house thrown in, you get all your food, you get, this, that, and something else. Plus you had a chance to make a bit of extra income yourself and for not doing much. And yeah, so they deliver eggs to people. I don't know how much money they made from it, but anyway, what happened is uh, as time went on, the egg marketing corporation or something came into being, and it was a big business backed by banks and what have you, and they processed all the eggs, so it was made illegal for people like my parents to sell eggs door to door, or just to friends, and they got squeezed out of the market, and that's happened with everything. Because once upon a time, most people grew everything themselves, and maybe made a small wage of it. But with consumerism, and then of course more debt came into it, and the whole thing is now not working. And it's I think a lot of people would, those who are benefiting from it, would say it's great. Hang on, just got to let Stumpy out. Yeah, okay, hang on. Here you go. Uh, there you go. Off you go. Yeah, so is there? I'll tell you a story about him later. Uh, yeah, so I don't know. I've sort of sensed for a while that, and what's happening, what seems to be happening with that TEM thing, is that it's half and half, or a portion of local currency and a portion of euros. Because I mean, certain industries and certain services are sort of global, or across the country. The head office might be in a different city to yours, so you have to pay them in euros. But for anything local that you can trade, well then they were using this TEM thing. Now the interesting thing there is that you're then forced into a situation where if you want to earn TEM, you actually have to do something for it. It's not like you can be on welfare or anything like that, but you actually have to grow something. I just noticed that, they had people pulling up in cars, like my parents used to pull the egg, selling eggs and vegetables they would sell in exchange for TEM. Um, and there wouldn't have been much profit in it, but I mean, at least it gave them currency, and they could, engage up in, like they wanted something repaired, well then they could pay somebody in TEM, and that's how it worked. Um, I can see that actually happening, but not only see it happening through necessity, I actually think it could be a good thing for people. I think what's happening, I could be wrong, but because people are so specialised in a narrow field, oh, I'm a such and such, it's just nothing like, I can't talk to anybody about what I do online around here because nobody does it. So I'm sort of, in a sense, I'm a hermit, not by will, but just the way it is, because they just, they don't understand me. So there's no commonality. Now, for example, if we were all producing some sort of vegetable, we could swap and share. Oh, you do this and do that. Oh, that'd be a better idea. And I suppose, I don't know, But at the moment, there's just nothing for people to talk about. There's nothing for people. How you and I sort of, at least we're talking about, the sort of stuff I'm trying to do online. You go, oh yeah, it's interesting, yeah, and I'll show you this and I'll show you that. Oh, yeah, right, okay. So we've got something to and try and make a better product. Yeah, well, most people don't have that. They just watch television and talk about what's on television. Oh, did you see this program? Or did you see that program? Or did you see that? It's boring. It's really, it's like you're talking about something that you saw, you're not talking about something you did or something that you've got getting better at or something you enjoy or, wow, geez, how did you grow those? Or, how did you do that? Or what? There's none of that. That's all gone. But I think what the Greeks are showing is that it could well come back if the economy collapses, which it seems to be doing slowly. Now, as I look at it, I was calculating yesterday at when people retire here, they're in what they call superannuation funds and investment fund type thing, where they're earning interest and dividends from shares, getting an income from their investments that they've accumulated over their lives. And I was trying to figure out how much. So if I go out and buy a $10 pot and put in, a bit of soil and grow potatoes, that gives me probably, I don't know, maybe grows a kilo of potatoes a year, maybe thereabouts, which is what, $4. Big deal, whoopee do, nothing. But to earn that $4, if I was in a retirement fund, I've got to have, what did I work out to be, $200 or $300, 2%, and if you can get 2% in the future, it will give you that 10. So you need to tie up $200 or $300. Now that's just for 1 kilo of potatoes. Can you see my point? Have you seen all those pots out there? We're talking, you probably have to tie up $10,000 to produce that many vegetables, and I've only had to pay out less than 100. So, and that's it. Once it's paid out, it's gone, finished. It's like its own investment return, if you see what I mean. So, and I say to people, I think this is a new growth industry where people will. So it's no good. It's no good for them to have money because it just doesn't return anything, and it's getting less, less and less. The asset prices might keep going up. The stock market could keep going up a bit further, but there's even less and less return, and there's going to be in the future. There's going to be nothing. Because right now, what they're doing is buying back their own stocks. They're not investing it in marketing ideas or new products or anything. No, it's just they're buying their own stocks. So in the future, there'll be even less return than there is today, and there's not much today. So what I see happening in the future is people doing stuff like I'm doing, hopefully a bit nicely done. Mine's just a whole litter of pots out the back of a whole caravan, but you could actually. And it will give people something to talk about. They can say, oh, we do this and do that, and we also make cakes, and have a return to what I grew up with, which wasn't too bad, actually. I didn't think it was too bad. They made their own butter and everything. But it was, I think what it's become is, and this is why people are so fat, it's just there. It's a tub of ice cream you make, just imagine getting a big load of butter and putting it on, like, shit, I just made that. I don't know. It's just don't waste it. But when it comes out of a factory, yeah, it's cheap. And but how, is it offering real value in life? That's the thing. It's just food, just like shove it in your fat stomach and get fatter. There's no value in it. And I think people, I think that video sort of showed that a return of value to life. Hang on, I'm cooking breakfast as I'm talking to you. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but I've got to tell you about Stumpy. I said the movie I sent you yesterday, the one that didn't work, was all about Stumpy. He mutters to himself in his sleep. Oh God, it's funny all night long. It keeps me awake. It's dreadful. But he, and then it's like he's talking to himself, and then at some point I'll be just dozing off again. I think he argues with himself. He's just like, hey, Stumpy, what are you doing? I don't know whether it's talking in his sleep or snoring. Parrot snoring. God, it's funny. It's like there's a little whistle going off under your bed all the time. And I worry though, because when the parrots, they used to sit out the side, or and they'd sit side by side like that. It was really lovely. They'd pair off and they'd push up next to one another, and they'd preen one another and what have you. And when Stumpy had his little friend here, he or she or whatever the case was, they'd sit under the bed together, like that together, looking at me like, here we are, lovebirds. And he or she went, and Stumpy's now has to wedge himself between a bed leg, it's just, and the wall. So that's where he sleeps in between. And I worry because, God, if I move that I should put something there to make sure it wouldn't squash him. I'd hate to squash him, but he's right under my pillow. What now? He's arguing with himself. Anyway, I've got to have breakfast. I think I'll get this off to you. I'll talk to you soon.